It's going to be a tough one. We'll see how we get on. Hello. Welcome back. Right, before I get started, as always, I hope you're all doing well. Right. I am done hard about doing a video about this, but I think it's very important, and I've actually been blown away by a new artist, and I just want to tell you about it. The artist is called Ren. Now, he's blown up on YouTube. I'd not heard of him before. I was searching around for some new music, you know, when you're having one of them days just goofing off through YouTube, and I stumbled across this music video called Hi Ren. Looks fantastic. The video's shot in a really derelict room, basically, with a couple of lights. I think 3 lights, possibly. And he's wheeled in by a guy with blooded apron on and a pig mask. Looks very Texas Chainsaw, The Saw, I don't know. One of them sort of derelict rooms. And Ren is sat on the wheelchair. I'm not going to go too much in what happens in the videos, but basically he starts singing. It opens up with a lovely bit of classical guitar. A beautiful classical guitar, actually. And then he goes into this... To be honest with you, I was taken back by it at first. It's like a howl, but it's beautiful. It's actually beautiful. When he does a reprise at the end, honestly, it proper got to me, but we'll get to that. And then he goes into this like little rap battle with himself, right? And it struck a chord with me, because dare I admit it, on YouTube, I suffer with my own demons, you know. But we'll get to that in a little while. And it's very back and forth, you know. One side is the dark side, the doubt, the fear, who's going to want to watch this? Something I deal with myself every time I sit in front of the camera, guys. And then the voice of hope, you know, the person sort of saying, look, you know, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Ain't I just as important? But there's a little bit of doubt in his voice. Well, anyway, it's very hard to describe. Obviously, I'm going to link it in the description down below. I'd love you all to go and check it out. I think it's so important, but again, we'll get to that. So he's going back and forth. You know, the dark Ren is throwing so much doubt on him, and the other Ren is trying to stick up for himself. And anyone who's had any sort of mental health or mental illness, whether it's anxiety, depression, will know this. And it resonated with me so much. Now, the inner conflict I could hear, funny enough, it sounded a little bit like Eminem. Now, I haven't listened to Eminem for years, but I used to be a big fan of certainly the Marshall Mathers album and the first album, Slim Shady. So there was remnants of that. And he actually quotes it in it. And Plan B, before Strickland Banks, you know, Plan B was like a grind rapper, and he'd done so on the guitar, and some of them were brutal, actually. So he's having this battle with the inner demon, and the voice of hope is really trying, but every time he fights back, the dark one just seems to get more vicious, seems to be more humiliating, putting him down, telling him he's just a rip-off artist. What's the point? What are you doing? And all that. It's powerful stuff, guys. It really is. The voices of the dark and the light really at a conflict with one another. And anyone, like I said, anyone who's had that sort of experience will totally know what it's like. It's a bugger. Now, throughout this, when he's the dark Ren, he's got a very aggressive pluck on the guitar, and obviously when he's the voice of hope Ren, it's nice and light, and for such a good guitarist. Honestly, it's Jose Feliciano crossed with Primus and some other bits in between, you know. It was amazing. The guitar, and this is another thing, it's just Ren and a classical guitar. There's no other instruments playing in this. And I was literally riveted to the music video. The facial expressions, when he's the dark Ren, you could see it. The sarcasm, the snidey. And yet, when he was the hope, the voice of hope, I like to call it, in Ren, his face really softens, even kind of looks frightened of the dark. And I get that. We are an amazing artist, amazing singer. He sings at the end as well. A superb rapper. I mean, his lyrics and the way he delivers them are so slick. Wow. Amazing guitar player. Absolutely incredible. Poet. You know, he's everything. He's absolutely one bag of talent. This song is going to be remembered, I think. I really would love to know your views on it. Like I said, I'm going to link it down below. Of course I am. It's a game changer. To me, it's a game changer. Now, it's not going to be everyone's taste. I get that. But it completely blew me away. It really, really did. The modern day Bohemian Rhapsody, possibly. Because it literally changes through genres throughout. And like I said, it ends on him doing that howling, ooh, 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 whatever. And that, I was done by then. I was completely gone by then. Now, like I said, this is important. There's been so many people done YouTube reactions to this. I even asked my mate Alice. I literally messaged him yesterday and said, you got to watch this thing. There's been loads, and I've watched a lot of people react to it. And to be honest with you guys, and this is, it's not easy to admit on camera, when I first watched it, I had tears coming down my eyes. I really did. It was that voice of hope, you know, and he delivers a really important message. After the song's done, he delivers such an important message that really struck home with me, that it made me feel inspired to do this and talk about these things, you know, because mental health's really hard to talk about, you know. I'm a victim of it, guys, so I have some, you know. I have anxiety, I have depression, and it comes in waves. Never admitted that on YouTube. I liked The Great Pretender by Freddie Mercury, or The Platters, or whatever. Yeah, when I'm sat in front of the camera, you know, I try and be upbeat and all the things. And yet sometimes before I even turn the camera on, I'm saying to myself, what are you doing it for? What's the point? You know, why bother? Who's going to want to hear you? That's that dark voice that came out so strong in that song, and it really resonated with me. And it's hard. Some days it's really hard. Other days you feel inspired and you feel great. And that's what he talks about. At the end, he does this outro speech, monologue, about his battle with it all. And I get it. I totally get it. So, it is a bugger. But if you are in the UK and you do struggle with these, whether it be anxiety, guys, anxiety is a bugger, you know, anhedonia, so if you just sit there, it could be a form of depression, so you don't feel anything, you know, your loss of the enjoyment in listening to music, watching films, going out, you can get help. I mean, Vitamins is pretty good in the UK. I don't know what the American equivalent is, but it is worth talking to people. There is help out there. And I think these things should be brought into the light. Mental health really should. It's important. And there's a lot of kids growing up with it now. I mean, I was brought up in the generation where toughen up, man up, sort it out. And when you have that doubt creep in, and it does, some days it really does, it's bloody awful. And he describes it perfectly in his outro about it isn't David versus Goliath, you know, when you're having although if you've had a night where you can't sleep, you might be anxious the next day, you can't sleep that night, and anxiety kicks in, it does feel like Goliath. You think, how am I going to make through the day? And it just feeds the beast. It really does. It's bloody awful, really. But you do have some good days. And he describes it perfectly, you know, the pendulum swinging. And it does. Some days I feel great. And other days, not so great. But you got to just try and relax with it, like he says. I don't think there's an absolute cure. I like to think there is, but I don't know if there's a cure. It's just learning to live with it, I guess. But anyway, I'm sort of like going off on a tangent, and I kind of knew I would on this because I think it's a really important message. So, final thoughts. First off, Ren is completely independent. He's not paid by no music company. He gets his money from his streams and stuff. So please go over to his YouTube channel and give that a like, give that a watch, comment on it. I think it's nearly at 4 million views. This thing needs to just be seen by everyone, I think. And please give Ren some love, you know. Obviously, since I've watched the music video a few times and countless reactions as it goes, some felt very much like me on it. I found out that Ren is at the moment, because he suffers with autoimmunity and a few other bits. He's been poorly, really poorly, and he did do a video on his YouTube channel where he's sort of stuck in and he's watching his friends and his life's going by, and it breaks your heart to actually listen to him. But he's in Canada at the moment getting some help, and he has actually got a GoFundMe page. Now, I never get involved with things like that, but I am going to link that down below as well as obviously Ren's High Ren music video and his channel. I'd like you all to subscribe to that if you could. It's really important, guys. It's really important. I wish Ren all the best. I really, really do. And your High Ren song gave me the courage. I would never have admitted on YouTube that I myself suffer with depression and anxiety. I would never have had the courage to do it. So, Ren, thank you. Thank you for that. Right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you now before this gets too emotional for me. All right. Have yourselves a smashing day. Now I'm off to Scotland the weekend, just for a couple of days. I'll catch you when I get back. Have yourselves a fantastic day. I'll be back with another ramble real soon. Take care, people.